The new helmets are out. Everybody seems to love them. It's Locked On Lions for a Wednesday. Let's do it.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's happening, everybody? Matt Dery with you. It is another episode of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Indeed, your team every day. Shout out to our everydayers who check out the podcast, whether it be on the audio side, wherever you get your podcast, the video side on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. We are with you here on this Wednesday, June 21st, or Thursday, June 22nd. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcast. We didn't have a show yesterday. Those of you that reached out, just had a long day, had a lot to do. And really, this is kind of our mini off season with June and early July. I'm going to be taking a little vacation in early July. Won't be as many shows, but then we'll ramp up to 5 a week again, starting in mid to late July. So thanks for checking us out wherever you get your podcasts, following us at Twitter, on Twitter at Dery Speaks, at Locked On Lions, the Matt Dery Facebook fan page where we post this very podcast each and every day. And also, as I said before, please subscribe and watch us for free on the Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Coming up today, as you can see on the screen for those of you watching, the Lions have unveiled their new alternate helmets. They have been teasing it. They have been talking about it. We will show you those and talk about those coming up momentarily here on the show, but I like them. I think they're very, very cool. And they bring back the old school Lions logo, the sleek lion. Shout out to the organization for really kind of honoring their 90-year history with this look, and I really like it. We'll get into that. Also coming up today, hearing a lot of chatter about Jared Goff. Oh, the pressure's on Goff. Goff has to perform. Isn't that everybody's starting quarterback in this league? You know, there's not pressure on Deshaun Watson. There's not pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Who the heck's the Kansas City backup? I have no idea. There's not pressure on Justin Fields or Dak Prescott. I think it's a little overblown. We'll get into that. And some love being thrown, flowers being thrown the way at Josh Paschal, a name that maybe we're not talking about enough. All of that today here on this Wednesday edition of Locked On Lions. Brad Spielberger, our buddy from PFF, likely going to join us tomorrow. I've got to talk to my man Diamond Dave Selfaro at Pro Football Focus and get that notched up and etched in stone. But I believe we're going to have Brad on tomorrow to talk all things Detroit Lions. All right. Thank you for being with us and checking us out today, wherever you get your podcasts. Off season sometimes can be a little bit slow. Credit to the Lions. Yes, maybe some of you think that I'm just carrying the water for the Lions, but I'm enthused. I'm excited. I think they're going to win 10 games. I think they're going to do this and that and make a run and win this division. I do. I think they're good enough to do it. No promises, anything else. I was at the gym today. My man Ruhan came up to me at the gym today. Shout out to him at Edge Fitness and said, you know, he thinks it's 10 or 11 wins. I had another guy the other day say 13-4. I'm like, everybody pump the brakes. But what the Lions did today was very, very cool. They teased yesterday that today they were going to unveil a little video with their new alternate helmet that they're going to wear this season. And for those of you watching on the Locked On Lions YouTube channel, I will throw it up on the screen real fast right now. There it is on the screen for you. The new alternate Lions helmet for this season. They will wear this twice this year. The Monday Night Football game against the Las Vegas Raiders in October, and also in Week 18 against the Minnesota Vikings in late January or early January, the final week of the season. They'll wear that at Ford Field, and they will wear this blue helmet with a blue and silver stripe going vertically and the old school sleek old Detroit Lion, not Bubbles the lion, the bulky one, the sleek lion going horizontally across. It looks really cool. It's a different shade of blue. I like it. They're going to wear it with their gray uniforms, the color rush. And there are pictures at DetroitLions.com of Aiden Hutchinson, of Amon-Ra St. Brown, kind of modeling the uniform. But I like this look. I think it's kind of cool, to be honest with you. I love the sleek, old school Lion. We have been waiting. There are Lion haters out there that I know personally. All right. One of them's initials is RB. This person knows who they are. But even they were saying, I love this. I think it's kind of cool. I like the different shade of blue. I love the sleek, old school Lion. The thinner look, not bubbles, but the other, logo that they had in the 40s and 50s, that Lion. And I think the stripes and everything, I think it looks great. So, the Lions, on the field are getting better. We know that. They're making huge strides. They have a likable coach. They have a GM that's made really good draft picks. They've picked up some good free agents. They've made some nice trades. They won 9 games last year. They're a winning franchise. 9-8 is winning. They're not losers anymore. All right. They could go right back to being 4-13 this year. We can all make jokes. We can all say whatever we say. But this look here off the field is a winning look. I like it. It's something different. It's something fresh. The gray face mask to go with the blue looks cool. The old logo Lion mascot. Love it. So I think it looks cool. I like it. And I give the Lions credit. Their marketing department, their team, whoever it is. Hey, shout out to 222. Good job, Rod. Rod's on a roll lately. Maybe Rod will come on the show at some point. Can we get Rod on? I'm going to have to contact Eamon and company. But hey, it looks sweet. It looks cool. It's, fans don't necessarily buy helmets, but who knows? This could spawn into something cool. T-shirts with the helmet on. I don't know. But for 2 games out of the year to wear that helmet to go with the color rush, I like it. I have no beef with it at all. I think they did a good job. And yes, we've heard the Lions are going to be changing up their uniforms likely next season, and they kind of do need a bit of a refresh and a rebrand when it comes to the uniform. But you know what else works? Winning. Winning cures all. The feeling in this town right now for this football team, because they won more games than they lost last year, because they finished the season so strong, winning 8 of their last 10, winning 8 of their last 10 games, starting off 1-6. Yours truly threatening to quit, and to go 8-2 in their last 10 was, 9-2 in their, not 9-2, 8. They were 1-6, so that's 7. Yes, 8-2 in their last 10. I can do the math. Is remarkable, and the other teams in this market should be getting hammered because they can't win. What is this, year 12 of the Iser plan? They don't win. Pistons don't win. And I love the Pistons. I'm rooting for them. The baseball team, they're playing better right now, but they're still 6, 7, 8 games under 500 in a bad division. With Maton and Vierling and Zach Short and the 56-year-old Miguel Cabrera. Come on. But the Lions are hot. It's like Michigan football, MSU basketball, and the Lions locally, and that's it. Hey, the Michigan Panthers made the playoffs. Shout out. Is anybody going to those games, by the way? The USFL games at Ford Field. Is anybody gone? I've heard not a word. I've not heard a buzz or a peep about it at all. I've only heard a couple of people complain about the radio broadcast and that the play-by-play guy is not so good. But other than that, I have not heard a word. But thumbs up, Lions. You did well. The helmets, we'll show it to you one more time. I think these look good. I like it. So nice work by the Lions. All right, coming up next, let's do the business and talk a little bit about Jared Goff. I want to get into some Josh Paschal discussion as well. But first, let's tell you about our friends at FanDuel. Hey, how about this? Baseball season. Yes, it is in full swing. No better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Just go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to join today. I want to put some money down on, actually, the Tigers won today against the Royals, but Major League Baseball betting, golf, whatever it is. Gordo on the SV pod, Scott Van Pelt's pod. Gordo, who's their kind of expert on gambling, on golf gambling. He says betting on golf is easy. Well, if it's easy, do it at FanDuel. Get that no sweat first bet up to $1,000. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. It's an easy, hassle-free app. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. All right, so I've heard a lot of discussion, and I think it's unfair. Some people have been talking about, and I've been reading a little bit nationally about Jared Goff. And I'm not sitting here going over Jared Goff's stats or what I think he'll do this year or how good of a quarterback he is. But people are saying, if Jared Goff doesn't play well, the Lions won't win. And there's pressure on Jared Goff to succeed. And I guess that's true. But isn't that kind of a simplistic topic when you're talking about the Lions? Because you could have that topic in every city. Tell me who the best backup quarterbacks are in the NFL off the top of your head. Who's going to come into a football game for another team and going to wow you? All right. If Derek Carr doesn't perform, let's just use some examples. If Derek Carr doesn't perform in New Orleans now as the new quarterback of the Saints then have to turn to Jameis Winston. Forget it. Right? Like the Kansas City Chiefs have Patrick flipping Mahomes. He's awesome. Isn't there pressure every year for him to perform and be really good? Last couple of years, they had Chad Henne as their backup quarterback. Off the top of my head, I don't know who the Chiefs' backup quarterback is. All right, Joe Burrow has to perform or the Bengals won't be good. He has to stay healthy. Who's the Bengals backup? Ryan Finley? I don't even know. Right? There are some other examples. Andy Dalton is the backup somewhere now. And has been the backup places. Like the Falcons have Desmond Ridder, and he was a backup last year, and he's a rookie and maybe has potential to come in and be good. The Lions' backup is Nate Sudfeld. All right, Nate Sudfeld has had a good spring, according to the Lions. Of course, if Jared Goff gets hurt or if Jared Goff struggles, of course, it's going to be curtains for the Lions. There's not any added pressure on any. I don't know of any other situation around the NFL. They're all the same right now. 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, there were some really good backup quarterbacks. There were some quarterbacks that, as rookies, were maybe more ready to play than others. All right, 1985, Gary Danielson was the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback, former Lion quarterback. Gary Danielson was still good at that time. He could still play a little bit, and he won some football games for the team. They were about 3-3, 3-4, 4-4 in 85, and Danielson got hurt, and the Browns turned to one Bernie Kosar, who they had just drafted in the supplemental draft, the rookie out of Miami, and Bernie took the team to the playoffs, took the team the next year to the AFC Championship game, the year after that, and then in 89 as well. They made 3 AFC title games with the guy that started as the backup. But I'm here to tell you that, Mike White, if he has to play for a long length of time and not Aaron Rodgers, that's going to be trouble for the Jets. It's the same when the Dolphins lost Tua. Now, Dolphins did have Teddy Bridgewater. Skylar Thompson they tried, but that's a big gap from Tua to Skylar Thompson. All right? Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers have Mitch Trubisky, who backs up Kenny Pickett. But Kenny Pickett, they feel like, is going to elevate them. And if Pickett sucks, yes, Trubisky could win a game or two, could win some games. He's not bad. But most of these backups stink. Most of them cannot play. When I was doing the topic about Nate Sudfeld either last week or the week before, some of you on YouTube were like, you're too hard on Nate Sudfeld. Maybe I was, because the rest of these backups aren't any good either. There are guys still on the street that don't have jobs, like Jacoby Brissett and others, still haven't been signed. Why? Because they're not any good. The Browns gave Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed. Last year, he had to sit out because of the suspension. How'd Brissett do? He wasn't bad, but you know what? They didn't win enough games with him. Watson, they're hoping, elevates them. Goff, the Lions are hoping, with Ben Johnson back as OC, elevates his game even more and keeps the chains moving and has this offense where they were a year ago, which was a top 5 offense. But to sit here and go, oh, the pressure's on Jared Goff. Jared Goff has to do do that in every city. Aaron Rodgers has to do that with the Jets for the amount of money and for the amount of trade and draft capital they had to use on him. Same goes for Mahomes every year. Same goes for, like I said, Derek Carr in New Orleans. All right? Indianapolis is different. Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew are basically equals right now. But for winning teams that have veteran quarterbacks and proven quarterbacks, yeah, the starter has to perform. It's not just Jared Goff. Josh Paschal is a name we haven't talked about enough, and that is my fault. I want to talk about him coming up next here on Locked On Lions. But first, we are brought to you also today by our friends at Marg's Sparkling Margaritas. Look, you guys know, love an ice-cold beverage of the alcoholic variety at the end of a day. At the end of doing the podcast here, would love to go upstairs, have dinner with my wife, and have a refreshing drink on a hot day. Forget White Claws and High Noons. Those are fine. Try Marg's. Stumble upon Marg's, M-A-R-G-S. They're fantastic. Refreshing, ready to drink, sparkling margaritas that have become my go-to cocktail. I absolutely love them. Crafted with Real Blanco tequila, Marg's are clean, they're crisp, genuinely taste very good, and they've got 5 unique flavors, so there's something for everybody to enjoy. Great to pack in the cooler for a backyard barbecue. We're into summer now. Happy first day of summer, so get your Marg's right now. Go to sipmargs.com to find a retailer near you. That's sipmargs.com. Must be 21 and over to enjoy. Cheers. Please drink responsibly. All right, so when we talk about the Lions and edge rushers and defensive linemen, we're excited about a full season of Romeo Okwara. We're excited about Charles Harris coming back and being healthy after he wasn't a year ago. Aiden Hutchinson, runner-up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. We know how good he is. We mentioned it the other day. PFF has him graded out as the 22nd best edge rusher, which I think is kind of a crock, but he's still a top 20 edge rusher in this league. John Kaminsky, the commish, played well last year. You got Julian Okwara. You got James Houston. But where does Josh Paschal come into the mix? First and foremost, Josh Paschal was a second-round pick last year. Second round. And remember, started the season on the PUP list, was coming back from injury. And when he did come back, he played in 10 games. And there were some games last year. I think it was the Dallas game, Chicago game at home. Josh Paschal was really, really good. Disruptive, in the backfield against the run, able to get to the quarterback. 10 games last year, he started 4. He played in 293 snaps. Or he played 293 snaps. 16 tackles, 2 sacks, and per Pro Football Focus, 15 pressures. Again, where does he play? Is Josh Paschal big enough to play on the inside and be a defensive tackle? Or if he's on the edge, who's he going to spell? Remember, last year when Paschal got in the games, Romeo Okwara wasn't healthy yet. Charles Harris was out. Kaminsky was moving inside and outside, and really, Kaminsky was solid all year. Houston was just starting to come on at that point. But Paschal was able to get some burn. Now, for a second-round pick, a lot of people like his upside. A lot of people say he's had a full, healthy offseason now, and then that he's really going to take off. But the question is, where? There's only 4 slots on the D-line. You know Aleem McNeil's going to play a lot. They're going to rotate Isaiah Buggs and others at the other defensive tackle. Maybe Paschal is able to get there. I don't think he's as big as John Kaminsky. Aiden Hutchinson is just high motor, high energy, wants to be on the field at all times. Harris, the Okwaras, Houston, Covington. There's a lot of depth on that D-line. So the question is, where is Paschal going to play and how much is he going to play? Now, if he gets in the game in week 1 in Kansas City, is on the edge opposite of Aiden Hutchinson maybe to start the season, which is possible, and he's able to disrupt, get in the backfield, he's going to play a lot. But on third downs, Hutch moving inside, Houston on one side, Paschal, what if Romeo Okwara collects double-digit sacks like he did a few years ago? What if Charles Harris, we see the Charles Harris from 2021 that is fully healthy? Good problem to have, but I like this kid, and I'd like to see more of him. I do. I want to see more of Josh Paschal. We thought at the start of last year, we didn't see enough for number 93. When's he going to get healthy? It's another second-round bust. Yet, I liked what I saw a year ago. So now the question is, where does he slot in? You know, Kaminsky just got a 2-year deal. And, with a new D-line coach in John Scott Jr., what does that mean for Josh Paschal's role? I'm excited to see how he does in the preseason and the competition that's going to go on for playing time opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. So I'm excited about Josh Paschal. I had my doubts about the pick. I'm not going to lie. I had my doubts about the draft pick last year. But when he was out there, especially the Dallas game, he got in the Dallas game and immediately was making plays. So I was excited about that. All right. We're going to talk to Brad Spielberger tomorrow from PFF. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. We will talk to you again tomorrow.